Austraeoh by Imploding Colon, read by Deathlight. Chapter 56, Cell. The air was tight. Rainbow found herself battling a series of shallow breaths the further she snuck into the cave. Her movement was sporadic, only allowing quick dash from one cluster of equipment to the next, as she endeavored to avoid being seen by the many minotaurs. Rainbow didn't fear having to fight any of them, a contest she would surely lose. She knew she could easily outfly them in a snap. However, she didn't want to mess up this one opportunity she had to figure out what the minotaurs were up to. She figured that Fullshot and the other Winthrop ponies never bothered to venture into this cavern. Hushell's villagers were simple, trusting equines. They likely dealt with the minotaurs at face value. It would have been very easy for Thunderhorn and his cohorts to take advantage of the Wintergator's naivety. To what purpose, Rainbow Dash couldn't guess. She only knew that back in Equestria, minotaurs have proven to be less than trustworthy.
Are we being followed?
Rockspot's breathy voice murmured from under the cloak. Shh! Rainbow hissed, trying to concentrate on the path ahead. The sound of her clopping hooves was easily masked by the roar of digging equipment and steam-operated machines throughout the tunnel. She came within 5 feet of a minotaur at one point, swiftly darting past him as she made her way deeper into the tunnel. The further she went, the darker the cavern got. The greater of enormity the tunnel appeared to her. She feared that the minotaur shredded a hole of rock open in the south side of the quarry. However, if she didn't know better, she guessed that the extraordinary lengths of the chamber had been forged by something far more powerful than the minotaurs. Even from her vantage point, she couldn't see where the tunnel ended. It was a massive corridor too, at least 40 feet tall and 80 feet across. Are they building a mine shaft or a perispread collider?
A what?
Rockspot whispered. Rainbow Dash sighed. Never mind, this thing's going way too deep. I don't see any sign of the magic crystals or... She paused in mid-speech, squinting across the way.
What is it, Miss Dash?
I'm not sure. Rainbow stammered. She peered over a box of crates at the opposite wall of the tunnel. The corridor so far had been a straight horizontal cut of earth. The walls were slim and immaculate, save from one spot that featured a door frame. A cage lid to a shallow protrusion lingered within the edge of the torch's light. There's some sort of cell across the way.
Cell?
Rainbow Dash gulped. I hear voices from it. Indeed, her ears were twitching, for a series of breathy conversations were emerging from the chamber on the opposite end of the tunnel. What was more, they sounded higher in pitch than towering minotaurs laboring and sweating across the length of the tunnel. I wonder...
What?
Can it, Spotty? She grunted, glancing left and right. We're cutting across the way. She waited patiently as 3 minotaurs walked by, carrying over their shoulders a series of heavy metal tubes. Once they were gone, she held her breath, crouched low, and darted across the lit length of the tunnel like a cloaked weasel. She shimmied over to the wall on the far side and crouched behind a stack of rusted tools. Another minotaur walked by. Rainbow waited and waited. Once the area was clear, she slid over towards the door, held her breath, stood up on her hind legs, and peered inside. Several faces gasped as soon as hers appeared from beyond the bars. A group of soot-stained, emaciated earth ponies bounced back from the doorframe and stood, trembling within the space of the claustrophobic prison cell. Rainbow Dash blinked. Well, snap. She lowered her hood, glanced behind her, and leaned into the bars of the door. Psst, hey there guys, how's it hoofing? Who in blazes are you? A stallion exclaimed. I'm on the outside looking in, which is the least I can say about you dudes. What gives? These minotaurs have you as prisoners? As slaves. A mare spoke. Like the majority of the prisoners, she was well over Rainbow Dash's age. They make us do menial labor as they dig up this plastic passageway to the machine. Machine? Rainbow made a face. She glanced behind her once more and replied, What the heck are you guys talking about? I thought these minotaurs were just digging up rocks. We don't know what they want. All that we know is that we're here and there are 6 more working deep in the tunnel. Another pony explained. They barely feed us, and they beat us up when we don't have enough energy to work. If we don't get out of here, we'll die. Hey, dying isn't cool. Let me see if I can help you out. Let's see if you continue standing there. The stallion hissed. Don't let yourself be caught too. Hey, chillax. This isn't my first time sneaking around a tunnel full of minotaurs. Really? Well, no. But it makes things easier if I choose to believe so. Rainbow Dash squatted and removed her cloak. Rockspot gasped and clung to her, where he sat in her saddlebag. Easy there, Squirt. She patted his head, then glanced up to the door. I'll get that lock broken and get myself inside. And then we can plot something out. I don't get it. Who are they? Rockspot nervously exclaimed. Ponies need our help. Bats? No buts about it. Hoof me my hatchet. Rockspot reached into the other side of the saddlebag and pulled the metal blade out. Rainbow took the handle in her mouth. She paused, glanced for nearby minotaurs, and leaned forward. With a few expert swings, she hacked and whacked the lock of the wooden door. Surprisingly, it didn't take very long. The door swung loose. She dove in and shut it behind her just as a pair of minotaurs walked by at about 20 feet's distance. Hopefully they won't notice long enough for us to plan an escape, she said, her voice echoing across the small cavern. There is Foe, with the scent of pony sweat in her fuse. She ignored it as she faced the group. Just how many ponies are we talking about here? You're a Pegasus! One of them gasped. Huh, yeah, well, no pony's perfect. You could have flown out of here and saved yourself at any time. Hey, that's not how I roll, okay? She briefly frowned. I came here because... Wait, you came here? Another gawked at her. Does that mean they know we're still alive? Does who know? Rainbow made a face. As far as I know, I'm doing this freelance. We thought the Hush still sent for us. Amara exclaimed, close to tears. We had hoped that they figured out that those monsters were taking us here. Whoa, 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 hold the lettuce. Rainbow Dash waved her forelimbs, squinting across the dark cell. You mean you guys are all from Winthrow? The monsters took you here? She plopped breathlessly down on her haunches. Hushtail and Slaty Seed told me that ponies were killed. Some of us were. Another pony said, his head hanging gravely along with his comrades. But most of us have been brought here over the past decade to perform slave labor. We don't know where the monsters go once they drop us off. It's almost like they disappear into nothingness. Rainbow felt a dizzy sensation as she remembered the silver strip in Thunderhorn's grip when she first spotted upon the quarry. Yeah, fancy that. You mean you're all from my village? Rockspot spoke up. Who's that? Amare pointed. He's why I'm here, Rainbow Dash said. One of the monsters fought him up and carried him north over the mountain range. I chased him all night. We're both lucky he didn't end up taking one of you dudes, or else I might have never found this place. Rockspot? A voice said from the shadows. Rainbow and the young colt glanced up. An aged Stein with a messy brown mane wandered out of the shadows. His limbs were malnourished and his cheeks were hollow. However, upon the sight of the foal, his eyes lit up. Is that you? The colt blinked curiously at him. Oh, Rockspot! The stallion stumbled over and reached his forelimbs out. It is you! It is you! Whoa there, buddy. Rainbow held him back with a frown. Let's not get too friendly. Who are you? He nearly blinked at her. Fidgeting, he knelt low and smiled into Rockspot's eyes. When you were just 4, I gave you silver horseshoes on Heartswarming. You were so proud to show them off. We walked around the village and the fog was actually clear for that day. You saw the stars for the first time. You started crying, and you didn't know why. I explained the cosmos to you, and then that's when you told me you wanted to become an astronomer. Rockspot blinked, and his eyes suddenly went wide. Daddy? The old stallion sniffed, his lips curving. You look so strong, Rockspot. I was scared I'd never see a cute Seniora. Daddy! Rockspot struggled, squirmed, but ultimately plopped out of Rainbow's saddlebag. He scurried across the room and threw himself onto the stallion's forelimbs. You're alive! Mommy told me you were dead! Your turnip wouldn't believe it! I'm here, son. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you these last 2 years. Rockspot sniffled and nuzzled the stallion's cheek. I'm so happy you're alive. I'm glad Miss Dash found you. The stallion gulped and held the foal close. I'm glad too, son. He smiled and glanced over to Rainbow Dash with teary eyes. Rainbow blinked. She felt a hoof tapping on her shoulder. She turned around and saw a horn. You. A unicorn with a limp shuffled exhaustedly towards her. You're not from around Wintergate, are you? I can't say that I am, buddy. Rainbow Dash looked him over. And someone tells me you're not from Winthrow like the rest of these poor saps. The unicorn slowly shook his head. Coughing, he winced and said, My name is Austraeoh, from the College of Southstone. Nearly 20 years ago, I was a part of a band of unicorns charged with transporting mystical artifacts across Wintergate. Halfway to our destination, we were raided by these minotaurs. Rainbow Dash's eyes darted briefly around the room. Where are the other unicorns? Two of my cohorts are part of the labor team in the tunnels right now. The three of us are the last survivors. The rest died over the past decade of imprisonment. Rainbow's ears drooped. Yeesh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Tell me, did you see the chaos strips? Rainbow's coat hair stood on end. Chaos strips? I suspect the Minotaurs have perverted them with dark energy. Undoubtedly, they've been using them to send the monsters all over this part of Wintergate. Did? Rainbow Dash's eyes narrowed. Did you say that the Minotaurs are the ones sending the monsters? Yes, isn't it obvious? Rainbow glanced over her shoulder. She stared at all the haggard, life-sad ponies huddled around the tearful reunion of Rockspot and his father. She turned back to look at the unicorn. Listen, asteroids. Astral. Whatever. She swallowed a lump down her throat and said, Tell me all you know.